Hey, how's it going, everybody? CNN article here. You know you can trust it, baby, all the way. All right, so Cuomo calls Trump incorrect and grossly uninformed about New York's ventilator situation as fight escalates. CNN sensationalizing? No, that would never happen. Bickering happens. I get it. It's a tense situation. Trump and Cuomo seem to have been working pretty well together, so I want to definitely give both of them credit for that, kind of coming together during this time to help out the individuals of New York City and New York State as a whole. But let's read a little bit here and see what they have to say. Democratic New York Governor Andrew Cuomo slammed President Donald Trump for his call to distribute federal ventilators the state had in storage as the two leaders' war of worlds over the coronavirus pandemic escalates. It's a war. Man, I just can't help being cynical at CNN. What can I say? Cuomo argued that the ventilators were stored in preparation for when New York hospitals exceed their capacity as the state has become the epicenter of the American coronavirus outbreak. Cuomo told CNN on Friday that Trump's assessment of the situation was incorrect and grossly uninformed. Of course we didn't. That's the whole point, Cuomo said. The hospitals don't need them yet. The hospitals aren't at their apex. The hospitals have enough ventilators today, but their numbers are going up. Cuomo added that his office was planning for peak cases in about 21 days. That's why we need the 30,000 ventilators, not today. So the point is, well, they're in a stockpile, you must not need them. It's just ignorant. Of course you don't need them today, Cuomo continued. You need them when you hit the apex, which is about 30,000. We're not there yet. Trump had tweeted earlier that New York should distribute the ventilators immediately. That statement came hours after Trump said in a Fox News interview that he doubted states calling for tens of thousands of ventilators would need them. Thousands of federal government delivered ventilators found in New York storage, Trump tweeted on Friday. New York must distribute now. Trump and Cuomo, two Queens natives prone to shifting quickly between approval and antagonism, have known each other for years. But coordinating the federal and state response to New York's outbreak, which saw a running total of at least 44,635 cases and 519 deaths on Friday, has put a spotlight on their alternately frosty and supporting working relationship. It says in the article, Trump later added, generally speaking, I'm getting along very well with Cuomo. When asked about Trump's dismissal of his projected ventilator needs later Friday, Cuomo told CNN's Aaron Burnett, I hope the president's right. I'll go better than what the president said. I hope I don't need any ventilators. But I can't govern that way. I govern on the data and on the numbers and on the science, he said, adding that if you count the numbers and the trajectory, we're looking at 40,000 possible ventilators, 140,000 possible hospital beds. Those are the numbers. Cuomo highlighted his and Trump's working relationship, stressing that this is no time for politics. This is a time for exquisite coordination between the federal government and the state governments because we need each other. And he's right on that. And I think they've done a pretty good job. Those two have done a great job, it seems, at keeping the politics out of it. Obviously, these media sources want to make it a political thing, but from what I've seen, and I don't watch a ton of news, I really think that they're really setting the tone for the rest of the states and that they're working really well together. And I appreciate that. I love seeing it. He also praised Trump for invoking the Defense Production Act because it gives him the muscle of the law to actually respond to the production of ventilators, which is exactly what we want, Cuomo said, later adding that Trump needs accelerated production, and he's right, these ventilators are going to be a matter of life and death. But the governor also got in one jab. All right, let's see what we got. When asked about Trump's assertion during Friday's coronavirus briefing that the federal government sent ventilators for New York to a New Jersey warehouse at the time they were complaining about. First, I've heard that the warehouse was in New Jersey. Funny way of delivering it to New York, he said. But I knew very well the federal government has delivered 4,000 ventilators. Okay. So, a little bit of bickering back and forth. And like I said, I totally get it from both individuals' perspectives. Cuomo, his job as governor of New York is to try to do what's best for the citizens of New York. Trump, overseeing the entire federal government, his job is the bigger picture, right? So my speculation, I don't know Trump, I mean, who can know what's in his mind, right? But my speculation is he's out there just looking at it from the perspective of seeing all these potential flashpoints or hotspots that may be jumping off. LA, Louisiana, obviously we have Seattle, Washington, but there's other areas that are probably going to start to take off as well. So he's looking at it in terms of the bigger picture. Hey, if you've got all these ventilators and you're not using them, let's distribute them elsewhere. Or if you claim that you need this many, let's distribute them now. You claim that there's this huge need, and Cuomo, in Trump's mind, is maybe making it sound like it's a pressing need. Oh, we need this, this, and that. And you have some sitting around, start distributing them. Distribute left and right, left and right. Like it said up in the article, if there's hospitals that have none and you claim to have all these ventilators in storage, why not start distributing them? So that's maybe just what I'm thinking from Trump's perspective. And again, Cuomo, he's sitting there, like he said, he's looking at the numbers. He's thinking that they may need 30. He even cited 40,000 in there. So to have 10,000 ventilators in stockpile and then getting another 4, is that correct? I don't know if I'm seeing that correct, 10 plus 4 or 10,000 total. But he's looking at worst case scenario or possibly reality, having to need 30,000. So he's saying, let's do what we can do, invoke the Defense Production Act. Let's try to get this thing going now to where we can get 30,000. Because again, New York's not the only one who's going to have need. There's other states and other cities that are trailing behind New York City in terms of like the whole like per capita infection rate and everything like that. And they're going to need them as well. So you definitely want to try to get ahead of this as much as you can for the federal government and state level government. Let's get this stuff started now. Let's get these companies cranking. Let's get the assembly lines fired up. And let's see if we can get a bunch of ventilators made for these states that need them now, are projecting the needs, and obviously a lot of other states that are going to need them in the future. That being said, it's definitely tough to find a balance between the two. Like how much do we produce? How much is enough? How much is not enough? Do we produce too much? Do we err on the side of caution? The bottom line is I guess you just have to get production up and cranking and get these things going, because it's like Cuomo was talking about in one of his pressers a few days ago that I heard on TV. He was saying, we need these now. We may need them in the future. But once we're done with them, once everything's kind of subsided in New York, then they can shift those resources to other states. So New York's unfortunately the one that's kind of leading the way in this, in that everything we're trying here, everything that we're trying to test out here in New York is obviously going to set the tone for other states as they start to see a lot of outbreaks as well. I think the reality is kind of like you've got to side with Cuomo a little bit more so on this one, because he's looking at the situation of his own people. So he's trying to do what he needs to do that's best for New York, and it's the problem right now. We're not saying Trump is wrong in this, but I'm just saying I think that Cuomo obviously has a better idea of what the numbers are or what the projections are going to be for his state. And that's his job, right? That's his job to know that stuff, and they report that stuff to Trump. That's the video. Love to hear what you guys think about it. Again, the little bit of bickering, it kind of comes with the territory. These are trying times. People are dying. People are getting sick left and right. So I understand a little bit of testiness. But to me, I think they've been working really well together. That's just my opinion. I don't know if you guys see it a different way. But thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and love to hear your thoughts. Take it easy, everybody out there.